Welcome to the Division Weapon Guides. Today we are covering the weapon that we have already covered in the past, the M1A. We're remaking this because we added a lot more information to our guides and we wanted to apply it to this weapon. In this guide we will talk about the general information, measurements, statistics, recommended weapon modifications, recommended weapon talents, weapon variants and the recommended class. The M1A is generally called the Springfield Armory M1A. It is a civilian version of the Mark 14 rifle. It is classed as a marksman rifle, so it fills the gap between the assault rifles and the snipers. It is manufactured by Springfield Armory Incorporated and it was designed in the United States of America in 1974. The weapon is rather sizable with its 1126mm in length, but it isn't too heavy, with it weighing 5.2 kilograms. It fires 7.62 by 51mm NATO standard rounds. It has a select fire mode, semi-automatic. It doesn't have the highest damage out of its class, which is around 40,000. But the damage per second is the best in its class. The headshot multiplier, as for all the marksman rifles, is 100%, which effectively doubles the damage when landing a headshot. It is effective up to the optimal range of 60 meters, though it can be hard to control the weapon at that range with it being semi-automatic and the rate of fire being at 300 rounds per minute. The handling characteristics are good, with the accuracy being 69% and the stability at 29%. This means that the threat is controllable, which is necessary for a semi-automatic rifle, but it will kick a lot. It has a relatively small magazine capacity in comparison to the other semi-automatic marksman rifles, at 10 rounds, which you will be able to reload in 3.5 or 3.7 seconds depending on the variant. Just like all the other marksman rifles, it gets increased headshot damage, which is generally around 150 to 155%. The M1A holds 3 modification slots, with one of the variants being an exception with 4. There are the optic, magazine, underbarrel and muzzle. For the optic, we recommend the MK5 scope, which increases the headshot damage, stability and the magnification at 15 times. The magazine will contain an extended magazine, which increases the magazine capacity and weapon damage. The underbarrel we recommend is the vertical grip, which increases the initial bullet stability and stability. And finally, on the muzzle we want the compensator, which increases the horizontal stability and the critical hit damage. The superior and high-end weapon variants allow the weapon to have 2 or 3 weapon talents. Here are the 3 we recommend. The first weapon talent will be Prepared, which increases the weapon damage by X% when more than 40 meters to the target. The second weapon talent is Brutal, which increases the headshot damage by X%. And the third weapon talent is Stable, which increases the stability by X%. There are 4 variants. The classic M1A. This variant has a classic design, since its body is made from wood. It has no increased statistics and lacks the underbarrel modification. The SOCOM M1A. This variant has a more modern look due to the nylon material and modern design. The damage is generally better than the classic variant, but it varies for each individual weapon. It does, however, have a small underbarrel modification. The Historian, this variant, the main version, has a similar design to the classic M1A, but it has slightly darker wood color and golden accents. Statistically, it has slightly increased damage, lacks the underbarrel modification, but it does have a fixed set of weapon talents. And the final variant, the first wave M1A. This variant has a military design since it's also made out of nylon and since the stock is designed to have more of an angle. Statistically, it generally has better damage than the other variants, decreased reload speed at 3.7 seconds, but it does have a large underbarrel modification slot. The M1A is classed midway between the assault rifles and the snipers. It fits right in the Marksman role. This role is specialized in longer range engagements and dealing vast amounts of damage, which the M1A can do with a great optimal range and good damage per second. For a build setup on the Marksman, click on the annotation that's on the screen right now. The setup is similar, except you want to select the first wave M1A as the primary weapon. We hope you now have an overview of the M1A in the division. Thank you for watching. The sources that we have used are mentioned in the description. If you enjoyed the guide, please consider leaving a rating, subscribe for more related content, and please support us on social media. If you have any questions, comments or constructive feedback, leave those in the comment section down below.